This is Cheesecake. She's our off-red. That name that I cannot say. Basically, it's just that grey ticking under her coat. So she's got like that lovely red on top, that nice grey underneath. She is a wonderful ear position when she decides to show it. There you go. Lovely tail position. She's a really nice size as well. Just generally in all nice book. Nice book? She's a nice doe. I'm sorry, babe. She also carries that rosetting gene, but she's not being paired with the other boy. She's going in with Jaffa Cake instead. This is Caramel. She's a very, very light champagne. She is one of the babies from a doe we retired. She is Galaxy's and Leo's sister. She's very sweet, bless her. Very, very, very laid back little mouse. This is Taurus. She's our tricolour. We had two does recently retired, so she's the other doe who got retired. Bless her, she is a very, very, very pretty tricolour. She's got a lovely split down her face. Obviously all this is a little bit murky. She's got a few patches of difference just there, and a very white little belly. This is Thunder. She's one of ours. She's a pet quality black and tan. So all that really means is yes, she does have black and tan, although obviously the black being on top, tan being on bottom, but it's not very good quality. It doesn't show through very well. And then she's very, very slightly wrecked. So if the camera could pick up her whiskers, which is very unlikely, they are very slightly curly. She is one of our loveliest does. She's already had 2 litters, so the next litter she has with Zeus will be her last, and then she'll be a retired nanny. Yay. This is Zeus. He is the show quality black and tan we have. Basically the big difference, you probably can already tell, is you have this wonderful tan. With Thunder, I don't know if you picked up on the camera, but just there on her neck she has a little black spot, which is counted as a fault. While he has a consistent tan all over the place, really nice colouring all the way through, and then a gorgeous shining black on top. He is one of my best show quality studs. He was directly picked out of some of the showing black and tans at the time, who were being shown obviously for winning, so he is probably the best stock that I've ever gotten in. Boy, he is one of the most recent offsprings of Jimmy. Jimmy was our previous stud. He'll be now being retired. He's already been reserved and going to a new home to live out the rest of his ex-studding life in a more pet quality way. This boy doesn't quite have a name yet. We are waiting on naming him, so if you have any name suggestions, you can comment that down below, and whoever gets to choose his name, or if we really like a name, we'll shout out the comment and you'll get obviously a shout out and you'll get to name this new stud. He is just standard splash, so he's grey black based, and then he's beautiful and foxed underneath, so he's got a nice lovely white belly under all that, and he's very slightly, it's not very strong, but he's very slightly angored or long haired, and his whiskers again, you know, you can see that they're curly. He's got the Rex gene. This is Mocha. He is our, what we're assuming is a blue splash. Genetically, he's not showing up that splash amazingly though, but he is still a gorgeous blue boy. He obviously has this nice little blue on top. He is also foxed. Almost all of my splash line has the fox. I personally like it. He is going to replace our current blue boy Smokey. Eventually, once he's had a few more litters, Smokey is then going to be retired to his original foster dad, who just fell in love with him. So he's going to a very good home once he's finished here. And Mocha's going to pick up the slack. Goldilocks. She is our satin, champagne, pied and tan. She has a lot of genes to her. Basically all that means is the champagne, the bulk of the colour there, the pied are those little white spots coming through, and she is technically tan. If you can see that very slight colour difference, it's a bit harder to tell on things like champagne, especially as the tan isn't great quality. She is one of the very first satins that I've ever produced. She's still kind of young. The satin is a line that I've only just started to work with. This is Gemini. He is our tri-boy. He is a very, very sweet boy. He came to us from Moon, the same one who produced his... my brain's gone dead. I've got too many minds. The same one who produced his Taurus, I think, yeah. We've only recently decided on these names, so they're still a bit loose in my head. He is our stud. He'll be producing my tri-line from now on. He is technically it doesn't show on his arse. He is Siamese by technicality. He's got that tiny little dark patch just there. Oh my god. Stop, please. Everybody got introduced to each other today. Today's a day where people get paired, so lots of squabbling today. But this is my beautiful boy Gemini. This is Smokey. He is my blue Splash. He's a little bit more Splash-like than Mocha is. He is one of the oldest boys here. That doesn't mean much. He was born in July 21st, I think. Bless it. He was one of the first we ever produced on those starter litters. And he just kind of casually popped up in a line. I didn't think he would, and then I've continued his line ever since. He's one of the biggest I've produced that haven't come from a show. He's just a wonderful big boy. He's obviously also got a nice lovely white belly. He'll be retired after these last 2 litters of his, and he'll be going to another pet home where he'll be given lots and lots of love. This is Charcoal. She is one of our older babies. She'll be having her last litter. Possibly, she might have one more. It depends on how she recovers after this one. She is a Burmese Splash. The splash doesn't show up super well as she's very, very, very dark, but she is basically just a very, very dark chocolate splash. She's a wonderful, wonderful little girl. Unfortunately, when she was a tiny little hopper, her mum caught her tail quite bad. So her tail is by technicality either broken or dislocated. It causes her no amount of pain now. Like almost all of the splash that I keep, she is foxed. I personally think it looks a little bit nicer on the darker ones to have that really nice stark contrast between the white and the really dark Burmese. This is Silver. She's a very, 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 very mild blue pointed, very slight darker nose and bum. She's very, very far descendant from blue pointed. We weren't expecting her to come up in that litter, but we keep her anyway. She's lovely. She's a lovely off-white with nice black eyes, and she is one of our sweetest. Pearl. She's our resident albino, or pink-eyed white, or whatever you want to call it. She is one of our loveliest of girls. Absolute little sweetheart. She's not actually produced me anything yet, although she was pregnant. I can only assume that she either ate everything or one of her other companions did. But she's not yet produced me anything, but we're still hopeful on her second litter. This is Jimmy. He's our resident Splash. He's another one who's soon to be retired. Obviously we have the unnamed buck who's going to be replacing him. He's definitely got character, I'll give him that one. But we no longer need of his services, so he'll be rehomed to a lovely pet home. The girls are just sorting out who's on top. He is one of my personal favourites, but unfortunately as a mousery you just kind of have to accept that sometimes better come along and you have to move with it. But thank you for watching. If you would like, it would be really helpful if you could like or comment or even subscribe. It'd be very, very helpful for us, help grow the mousery. Otherwise you can find us at mystic.mice.mousery on Facebook or mystic.mice.mousery on Instagram. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.